Hello everyone, I'm Jacob Kaufman, I'm the Nerd on the Street, and today we are updating an OwnCloud installation to Nextcloud. Alright, so you may have heard some hubbub in the past couple of weeks about a new project called Nextcloud, and you may have also heard some stories about OwnCloud in the news. So in case you're not aware, OwnCloud is an open source project that lets you host your own cloud with similar functionality to Google Drive or iCloud. The main feature is file sync, but OwnCloud also handles calendars, contacts, collaborative editing, similar to Google Docs, so there's lots of different cool things you can do with OwnCloud. Now I'm just going to give you the short version of the story. You can go and look up plenty of hour-long interviews with the actual people in the new Nextcloud project if you want to hear the long version. Short story is, over the past few weeks, 90% of the developers from OwnCloud have resigned, and then last week they announced that they were forming a new project called Nextcloud. As a result of this, OwnCloud has shut down its United States-based company, and any commercial OwnCloud support will now come from the German company. The German company was the bigger of the two anyway, so it's not actually as big of a deal as it seems, but yeah, lots of people are saying that Nextcloud killed OwnCloud. OwnCloud is still up and running for now, but basically if you want to know the difference between OwnCloud and Nextcloud, I was just interested in the functional difference between the two, and the basic difference is, think of the difference between OpenOffice and LibreOffice. OpenOffice was the dominant open source software suite until Oracle bought Sun, and nobody in the open source space liked Oracle, so a bunch of the developers forked OpenOffice into LibreOffice, and to this day, OpenOffice remains a product that is out there and available for download, but really there's no point in getting OpenOffice. It's just an outdated version of LibreOffice at this point, and that is likely what OwnCloud is going to become, just an outdated version of Nextcloud. So Nextcloud version 9 is already out. It is a straight fork of OwnCloud right now, and it's actually a drop-in replacement. You can switch from OwnCloud to Nextcloud. I've already installed the Nextcloud client actually on my phone, and I have signed into the Nextcloud client into my OwnCloud server. So it is literally all the exact same code. As of right now, it's just a brand change. Now in the future, the two products are going to be two separate products, and they're going to diverge from this point forward. So if you have an OwnCloud server and you want to switch to Nextcloud, I would do it now rather than later, because the longer you wait, the more differences there are going to be between the two products. And it's that thinking that has led me to this decision. I'm going to be I'm going to be switching my OwnCloud server over to Nextcloud in this video. Now some people would say that doing a video like this with a server that's actually in production is a bad idea. I would tend to agree with that, but you know, I do actually need to switch my production OwnCloud server over to Nextcloud, and if I'm going to do this, I might as well just do it once, save the time. If someone really wanted to screw with my Nextcloud installation, they could probably do it whether I put this video out or not. So, yeah, we're going to go to the desktop now, and here is switching from OwnCloud to Nextcloud. Alright, so here we are on the desktop. So before I start switching over everything, let's just log into my OwnCloud server and see what we have going on. So my OwnCloud server is at cloud.nerdonthestreet.com, and this is not something that's generally publicly available, but if you went and looked up the DNS records for nerdonthestreet.com, you would have found this anyway, so this isn't really telling you anything that you could not have figured out on your own. So here at Nerd on the Street, we use OwnCloud to send files between each other. We used to use SyncThing, but OwnCloud is generally easier for me to walk other people through setting up. So you can see we have these shared folders that we use, and we use that with the desktop client to sync large files. So we're going to go into the admin area, and we're going to see what version we are on. And I actually did spend quite a bit of time getting this OwnCloud installation set up just the way I liked it, and then like a few days later Nextcloud was announced, so I kind of picked the wrong time to install OwnCloud. If we scroll down here, your version is up to date. Can we see what version exactly we are on? Down at the bottom here, OwnCloud 9.0.2 stable. So if we go to owncloud.com, or actually it's owncloud.org, owncloud.com is the commercial version. Owncloud.org is where you can download OwnCloud. You can see they're still acting like they're going to be around for a while, despite the fact that literally 90% of their developers left. You can still download OwnCloud, and if you go to do that, the latest version is 9.0.2. So now we're going to switch to a new tab, and we're going to go to nextcloud.com. And this one's not a .org, it's a .com for whatever reason. And if we go to download, you can see the download pages are very similar between these. They really are trying to drive home the fact that Nextcloud is OwnCloud as of now, or it's the new hip version. So if we click download here, oops, I didn't actually. All right, more details. There we go. Latest stable version 9.0.5. All right, so this actually is not the exact. Oh, it's a newer version. Okay. So they forked the project, and when they forked it, it would have been the same 9.0.2. And there's a link to the changelog here on the OwnCloud website. Let's see if we can find a changelog over here. Let's just Google it. Nextcloud changelog. Well, we've got the project on GitHub, so maybe we can find Nextcloud server releases. All right, this was actually the first release. Okay, so they don't have a changelog. So probably the only differences between 9.0.2 and 9.0.5, or 9.0.50, I guess, would be that this new version has Nextcloud branding rather than OwnCloud branding. So at this point, we are actually going to connect to our OwnCloud server. We're going to SSH in, so SSH, and let me get my notebook of passwords here. Just a tip for you all, the most secure way to keep track of passwords is on a piece of paper, because nobody can hack paper. Alright, Nerd on the Street Cloud. So we are going to SSH into root at cloud.nerdonthestreet.com. And I know people are going to tell me that I should not be using the root account to do this on the server. Here's the thing. I'm using a VPS for this. This is a server dedicated to this OwnCloud installation. There is nothing else on the server. I'm not running a chat server on this. That's a separate server. The Minecraft server is on a separate installation of Linux. So even though there would be a slight security advantage to using a regular user for this rather than the root account, it really wouldn't have any practical benefit because, you know, even if you get into the root account, you can't mess anything other than the OwnCloud server up. So we're going to sign in here, type in our password, which luckily you cannot see. Alright, so now we're logged in and we have a shell on our VPS. And in case you guys are wondering, I use DigitalOcean for the Nerd on the Street servers. I've thought about not telling you that, but you know, that's actually really easy to find also. If you just like ping nerdonthestreet.com, you can figure out that it's hosted on DigitalOcean. So yeah, I considered doing Linode. I went with DigitalOcean because they're a sponsor of the Linux Action Show, and so far, all of the Linux Action Show sponsors have worked out well for me. So yeah. So we're connected to our VPS here. And what we're going to do, Nextcloud admin manual, all right, update documentation. So they say that this is a drop-in replacement, so I can just upgrade, I can follow the upgrade procedure in OwnCloud, and I can switch to Nextcloud. And then in the future, obviously, that won't be possible, but for this first version, that will be possible. So I'm actually not sure. I may have done this the wrong way. I'm not sure how I installed OwnCloud. If I installed OwnCloud with a package, then that's bad. If I installed OwnCloud manually, then that's good. Usually I do a manual install, but I might have gone crazy and used a package. So let's cd var www cd html. Okay, it looks like I installed this manually. Actually, apt-get check if package is installed. And I am, oh sweet, this is on Debian, not Ubuntu. Cool. dpkg-l OwnCloud. No packages found matching OwnCloud. Alright, OwnCloud is actually a package. Well, it's a package in Ubuntu. I don't know if it's a package in Debian or not, but I did not install OwnCloud using the package, if there is one. I installed OwnCloud by downloading the archive file, right? Classic way of installing the OwnCloud server. This is what I did. I downloaded this tarball, and then I extracted it and uploaded it. I know you're supposed to upload it and then extract it. I might have done that. I did one of those two things, and then I ended up with just all the files on the server that I have to update manually. That's what I want. So for Nextcloud, we're just going to try this. Alright, so we click download, and it just sends us to the download for the zip file. I like that. See, on the OwnCloud website, you click download and you get all this crap, like trying to tell you to do web installers or packages. This one, I guess they haven't set all of that up yet. Yeah, they just have the zip file available for download. So that's cool. So now we're going to open this zip file up, and I'm actually going to extract it first and then upload all the files. You can do it either way, but you know, this is the way that I'm going to do it. You can upload this and then extract it if you want to. I just don't want to have to Google the commands to extract a zip file, and this is a zip file, not a tarball. Oh, yeah, it's a zip file you get by default. Normally I would have chosen the tarball, but I didn't get this pop-up. I just clicked the download button, which links to a zip file. That's fine. Look, now we've got this Nextcloud folder. So now we're going to open up another tool that I use called FTP Client, and this makes DigitalOcean droplets really useful and easy to interact with. So, oh, I just connected to our web server. That's not what I wanted. All right, host SFTP, because I don't actually have an FTP server. We're going over SSH here. Cloud.nerdonthestreet.com, and I am going to block out, oh no, I don't have to. Pay no attention to my babbling. All right. Sweet. Download / Nextcloud. All right, so we're going to go to our web server directory, var www.html, and I am using Apache because that's what I'm comfortable with, so that's what I usually use. That's what I'm used to. I've used Nginx for non-web server things, and actually I have used it for web servers in the past as well, but all right, upgrading Nextcloud. Now Nextcloud, one of the things the developers said was they wanted it to be easier to update, and I love that because my biggest complaint about OwnCloud was that too often there were updates that broke things or that took a lot of work to install. All right, here we go. OwnCloud will be updated. Oh, this is an OwnCloud, so they must have just forked the OwnCloud documentation because this is an OwnCloud screenshot right here. That's awkward. Maybe they like ran a find and replace for text, changing OwnCloud to Nextcloud, but yeah, it wouldn't have changed the screenshot, obviously. All right, cool. We've got a community how-to. That's always nice to see. I think, is this a Discourse installation? Yeah, this is a Discourse installation, so that's cool. Not to be confused with Discord. Discourse is a, it's a nice forum software. It doesn't run on PHP, it runs on some other crazy thing, so I haven't been able to install it myself. Alright, delete everything from the OwnCloud folder except data in config. Okay, so before we do this, here's what I'll do. I'm going to take a backup of the OwnCloud folder. So cd .. and cp HTML, so copy HTML to HTML backup. Alright. Got to do -r for -recursive. There we go. The copy command does not copy directories by default. You have to pass the recursive flag there. So now, if we refresh our view here, then we'll have another... No, go over here. There we go. Now we can see we've got another folder with all the same stuff. So now we can delete things, and it should be fine. We'll be able to restore later. Alright, delete everything from the OwnCloud folder except data and config. Okay, now we don't actually have our data folder here because I do keep the data folder outside of the web directory folder. You might say that showing you guys this stuff on video... Oh, I'm just gonna... Showing you guys this stuff on video isn't great for security, but at least I keep my data folder outside of the web folder. Delete all of that. Oh, I should have done that through the command line. Alright, this is gonna take FileZilla really takes a while when you're doing things with large amounts of files, because FileZilla is now going to go through and find every single file and delete them all individually, recursively. Whereas if I had done this on the command line, it would be done by now. So if you're doing this at home, then here's what you should do: cd into your HTML folder, and then rm-r. Let's say third party, and I would go folder by folder because you don't want to accidentally delete the config folder, but yeah, rm-r third party, and then rm-r apps. Just like the copy command, by default, the remove command does not work with folders or directories, it only works with files. So yeah, just pass the recursive command, and then it will work with folders. There's also remove directory, that's a command, but I don't think it works with directories that actually have files in them. So I find the easiest way is rm-r. But yeah, that's what you should do if you're doing this. Don't do it through FileZilla like I did, because now I'm going to have to sit here and watch. The good news is our recording software is still working, and this video isn't stupidly long yet, so yeah, I'll let you guys know when this is done. Alright, that took quite a while, as you can see by the clock down in the corner of my screen, but it did finish, so now we get to do something that's probably going to take just about as long, just to, yeah, download Nextcloud 9 release, put the files into the folder where the OwnCloud files were before, and then we'll trigger the update. So everything except for the config folder, drag on into here, and that is going to take almost just as long because once again it does every single file recursively, individually, and this is why it would probably be better to put the zip file or the tarball on your server first and then extract it when it's already on the server rather than uploading all of the files like this. I'm doing it the slow way because I actually didn't even consider that would be a problem until I had already dragged it over. And obviously, since we're on camera, I can't go back on that now. So I'll let you guys know when these are all done uploading. Okay, that finally finished copying, and you can once again take a look at my system clock if you want to know how long that took. Yeah, I would highly recommend copying that compressed file to your server and then unzipping it there rather than doing it on your client. But now that we're done with that, the next thing we have to do is trigger the update either via OCC or via web. Now normally I do this via web, so just for consistency's sake we're going to own cloud, cloud.nerdonthestreet.com/update.php, I think. Nope, not update.php. Maybe it's just our root. Is it just here? Alright, well, directory permissions are wrong. So give web server write access to the apps directory. Okay, we're going to go to the installation section of this documentation now, and so we're dealing with the www data user. And all right, copy and run this script to set all the proper permissions. Great. Okay, well, let's go ahead and let's copy the script. So I'm going to cd/root nano script dot, I should be more descriptive than that, nano permissions.sh. Alright, copy the script. Can I copy into this? Can I copy into this? Let's see if this works. Paste. Yeah, I can. Sweet. Alright, and I know you're not supposed to just copy and paste things and run them off the internet like that, but we can see very clearly what we're doing here. OC path is var/www/, and once again, this script is still written for OwnCloud, not NextCloud, but it should work anyway. /HTML. All right, user www.data, group www.data, root is of course root, and yeah, we're setting creating possible missing directories. We do not want to create the data directory because we're not using that. But the other stuff, let's not do that stuff. We don't want to create any directories actually. So chmod files and directories, that is what we want to do. And then chown directories, we want to do all of that, except once again our data folder is not within this folder, so we will get rid of that line. And then ocpath/occ, chmod, htaccess, and alright, everything else should be good. So sh permissions.sh. Okay, we'll get rid of the assets folder then. So we will edit this script again, and yeah, there's alright. Yeah, is there an assets? Yeah, there's no assets folder here, so that must just be an outdated script. But yeah, that should have set the permissions correctly, so now we will load this up again. Alright, cool. So after you copy those files over and set the permissions properly, and the only reason I use that script rather than setting the permissions is because honestly I don't have the chown syntax memorized at this point. I'm sure eventually I'll have that memorized, but I've done chown in the past, but yeah, it's safer sometimes just to do what the script tells you to, rather than if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess stuff up. Alright, Nextcloud will be updated to version 9.0.50. Please make sure that the database, the config folder, and the data folder have been backed up. Alright, the data folder hasn't technically been backed up. Even though the server is in production, it's an internal thing. This isn't open to the public, so even if the data folder were to get messed up somehow, which I'm sure it won't, then it wouldn't be the end of the world. Alright, so yeah, normally you do want to do this on the command line, in a terminal, you know. But yeah, I usually do it through the web, so we'll just do it through the web this time. And alright. Data database. So yeah, I'll just be happy if nothing breaks that was working before for this release. Alright, following apps have been disabled: calendar, documents, OwnNote, registration. Alright, and the first thing I'm going to do is re-enable all of those, especially OwnNote I've taken to using quite often, so yeah, all OwnCloud apps as of now should work with Nextcloud as well, so that's cool. We reload the page like it tells us to. Alright, and we log in here, and sweet. And I do like this, the new look. Honestly, I don't buy into the whole flat look like as much as a lot of people do, but it's cool that they've got, you know, a look that matches all the other modern stuff out there. And as you can see, our documents are still right where we left them, and if we go over to the admin section, we can now see we get the same setup warnings, and down at the bottom, we are now on the stable version of Nextcloud, and yeah, all of our settings should be the same. Yep, update channel is stable. Cool. And actually, if we go into our OwnCloud folder here, you can see even though there's not desktop versions of Nextcloud available for the public just yet, let me get out of there. All right, yeah, even though there's only an Android app, there's not an iOS app yet for OwnCloud, or this is going to take a while for me to get used to. There's not an iPhone app for Nextcloud yet, and there's also not a Linux, Windows, or Mac client for Nextcloud yet, but as the website says, the old OwnCloud clients will still work with Nextcloud. So even though I've still got just the OwnCloud client installed here, if I go into my OwnCloud folder, I'll have to rename that sometime, and I make create new text file test, that will get sunk up, and then if I go back to my files, you can see that still works. So yeah, eventually in the far future this may not work anymore, but for the time being it is just a seamless drop-in update. So yeah, if you've heard about all of the Nextcloud, OwnCloud drama going on, and you were just, honestly, my initial impression was, oh, this is cool, are there going to be new features in the new thing? And then when I figured out that no, there's no new features yet, the new thing is literally just a straight fork, it was just, I was thinking this is going to be a huge headache. Like, I was just cursing the developers for forking this project, because now I had to make the decision, do I want to stay on OwnCloud or do I have to go to Nextcloud? I would personally recommend going to Nextcloud because, the apps, for instance, the Nextcloud folks, one of their problem with OwnCloud was that the OwnCloud company was forcing the developers to not officially support some of the really popular apps, such as Calendar or Documents. And these people working at OwnCloud wanted to support these apps, but OwnCloud Inc., wouldn't let them. So now they're going and they made this new company called Nextcloud, and that company is going to be hands-off, and these developers are going to be able to work with the Nextcloud project to support these apps that are really popular in the community. So yeah, I'm gonna enable these and see what breaks. If we go to Calendar, let's see if our live stream calendar is up and running. Cool. All right, everything works just fine from what I'm seeing. Very nice. So yeah, I would certainly recommend switching to Nextcloud now because, like I said, this is pretty darn easy, and it can't get any easier in the future. It may stay the same difficulty, or it's probably going to get harder. That's how you do it. So let me know if you have any questions about Nextcloud or OwnCloud. You can ask those questions in the comments here on YouTube or Dailymotion, or you can go over to our forums at nerdonthestreet.com and ask questions about Nextcloud there. For now, though, hopefully this video was informative or helpful to you if you're doing this process. I'm Jacob Kaufman, I'm the Nerd on the Street, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.